So we will just play a video, and it is 1 hour long video. It covers all the introductions by GitHub, all the tools, softwares, or all the initiatives by GitHub. So I request everyone to stay and see the whole video.
Oh, woo! Good morning. Hello, GitHub universe. It's so great to be here in person. This is amazing. And a big hello to everyone watching remotely. I'm Thomas, and I'm a developer. And there's nothing better, nothing more energizing to me than being in a room full of developers. Like so many of you, through every stage of my life, my greatest passion has always been to build with code. It started in my childhood, writing simple programs in BASIC. And then in university, I was using SUSE Linux and Emacs. In my mid-20s, I was working in an automaker, and it was Windows PC and Visual Studio. And now, today, I think I'm still in my late 20s, it's all on GitHub. It's now a code space, my iPad, even when I'm at the airport. So much has changed, and since the rise of the internet, open source has been the engine of it all. Open source powers the world, and even those that didn't like open source to begin with are now on board. Companies, large and small, are using GitHub side by side with the open source community to build their own products and bring their big ideas to the world. And it's all of you together that have fueled this global economy. Now, let me share something very special. 10 years ago, for the very first time, we published the Octoverse and reported just 2.8 million developers on GitHub. 2.8 million. A year ago, we were at 73 million, and I'm more than thrilled that as of today, now 94 million developers call us their home. But despite how fast software development has advanced, despite how much we have all grown, how much GitHub has grown, there's even greater change just ahead. I believe we've arrived at the most significant turning point in the history of software development. And the past few years have made it clear we now live in a world fully eaten by software. Every day is punctuated from beginning to end through our interactions with software. From the moment in the morning your alarm goes off, to your commute and your day at work, and maybe you don't even have a commute anymore, to the second you set your alarm again to go to sleep, you cannot escape using software. And building, running, and maintaining all the software for the world has never been more complex. As a developer, you can't just build a great product anymore. You have to do it securely. You have to do it fast. And you have to build 100 times a day. And in all of this, developers are still expected to deliver the best creations of their life every single day. And as a developer myself, having to do all this work and stringing together or self-hosting all my own tools, sure as hell isn't something that I want. It's not solving my problems. It's not putting the developer first. We are at a breaking point, and it's time for a change. It's time to iterate and build a new developer experience. And it's no longer about how we can equip developers with the tools to do more for the sake of doing more. Now we must equip developers for everything they need to be at their best and to be happier. Right? That's what we want, be happy. Because developers do their best work where they can actually enjoy the work they want to do. When they have innovations that take the weight off, not add more, and when they have one integrated platform to do it all. One place that enables the flow state where the magic happens. And as the home of all developers, we have made it our mission to build this one integrated platform where developers can do it all. And it all starts with code.
Welcome to GitHub Universe 2022.
All right. Ever since we launched Copilot, it's helped redefine productivity for millions of developers by introducing them to the magic of AI assistance. For example, instead of us searching the web for a complicated regular expression, we can simply type a comment that describes what you need and let Copilot do the rest. Or if we wanted to send a text message with Twilio, Copilot can help us generate the entire function that calls it even if you've never used this API before. But the thing that amazes me the most is just how good Copilot is at understanding context, sometimes when you least expect it. Check this out. Here, we have a P5.js canvas, and as we press tab, Copilot helps us to draw a greenhouse with a red door and a blue roof with 2 windows. But like, where did these specific colors even come from? If we scroll to the top of the file, we'll see that we wrote a comment describing the colors of each of these objects. Nothing gets past Copilot. This sort of behavior is why we refer to Copilot as an AI peer programmer, because its understanding of natural language and code gives you way more than just a productivity boost. It helps you to focus on the business logic over boilerplate and discover ideas you might not have otherwise considered, all from the comfort of your editor. Copilot is available now, and it's being used by hundreds of thousands of developers every day. And if you're a verified teacher, student, or maintainer of a popular open source project, it's completely free. In fact, roughly half of Copilot users receive Copilot for free as a result of this program. And as more developers have adopted Copilot, we've been happy to see how impactful it is in practice. For example, among developers who are using it with Python, aka my Pythonistas, 40% of the 40% of the code they write was actually synthesized by Copilot. We also ran a study with 95 developers, and we split them into 2 groups, and we asked everyone to write an HTTP server. And to our surprise, the group that used Copilot was able to complete the task 55% faster than the group that didn't. But beyond the developer excitement, we've also heard loud and clear that companies want an easy way to purchase Copilot for their entire team. So, we're excited to bring the benefits of Copilot to every organization with the release of Copilot for Companies, coming this December. This will enable you to manage licenses and policy from a central location using your existing GitHub organizations. So whether you prefer Visual Studio Code, IntelliJ, or Vim, developers and students alike are experiencing the amazing benefits that Copilot and AI assistants can provide. And we can't wait for you to try it out as well. GitHub is committed to ensuring that Copilot is truly available for everyone. So I want to give you a sneak peek of something we've been working on that takes the next step towards this goal. Watch this. Hey, GitHub, let's write some code. Import a graph plotting library, a function to analyze the sentiment of text with a free web service. Change it to return a Boolean, a function to plot an array of Booleans as a pie chart, an array of example text, a function to put it all together. Call main. It's behind, sorry. Call main. Hey, GitHub, run program. And that was Hey, GitHub. With the power of your voice, we're excited to bring the benefits of Copilot to even more developers. GitHub is renewing its vision to be the home for all developers, and this is just one of the many steps we'll be taking to make that a reality. Hey, GitHub is an experiment, and we'd love to get your feedback, so sign up now to get access. Hey, GitHub, drop the beat.
With the new GitHub issues, planning and tracking is at the core of how high-performing development teams operate. And at GitHub, we believe developers deserve a planning tool that's centered around them, one that seamlessly integrates with their existing workflows, and more importantly, something they actually enjoy using. That's why we've enhanced projects in GitHub issues to be developer-first and truly adaptable. Here's a product backlog, where several teams across the product are working together to ship multiple features. Each view in this board shows a different perspective and is adaptable to the needs of whoever is using it. Our sprint planning lives as a board view, so we can visualize how work flows from one week to the next, while scope gives us a table view to quickly see items in every release stage. But what if we want to see how items track across dates? Previously, you'd have to leave projects and copy start and end dates for work into a spreadsheet or other tool. But today, we're introducing the private beta for Roadmap View, a native way to keep your stakeholders up to speed on what's being worked on, what's next, and how those items span across time. And you can even update your view from month to quarter to year. So as we dive into one of these features, you can see it's broken down into scopes using task lists. For this feature, we have 3 task lists: scoring, design, and boss updates. I think they forgot a design task here, though, for when the user fails the level, so let's add a draft task to remind them. Now, many tools hard code sub-issues or children to only support one level. But remember adaptability? With GitHub projects, we can have multiple levels. If I click into Save Score, we can see that it has its own task list, and that first task has its own set of tasks. I can traverse across this hierarchy from feature to scope to task to subtasks with ease. And the breadcrumb navigation lets me quickly go back to any level. So let's switch to our feature delivery project, which tracks the status of items about to be released. You can tell this is a different project because it has custom fields and unique views. For example, there's a progress field letting us know if anything's at risk of slipping. And even from this high-level view, we get insight into issue relationships with the tracks field, allowing us to scan for subtask progress. And if we move into our releases view, which is grouped by tracked by, we can see all the issues that roll up to a particular release. I'm so pleased to say you can join the waitlist to try this out today. And if I need to update my team's plans on the go, the GitHub mobile app now supports projects in iOS and Android, allowing me to assign items or update fields right from my phone. GitHub Issues not only adapts to your current planning processes, it encourages you and it enables you to evolve and iterate as you go. With over 100 new features and along with our new betas, now is the time to give GitHub Issues a try.
Sometimes I just want to dig right into the code to get my bearings, without muddying up my local machine and cloning a bunch of random repositories. So let me show you a new code navigation experience we have in private beta to help with that. I've heard about this new fast-loading web framework, Fresh, based on Dino, but I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. Across all of GitHub, I can search by language and my keyword Dino. This chat app looks interesting, and it's based on the Fresh framework. Now, let's see if we can find this button, New Room, in the code. I type into our repository search, super fast, and look at that, there it was, so fast. Filters make it easy to find exactly what you need based on common criteria like language, path, or symbol. And we can also drill into a specific file, view symbols, and navigate to definitions and references. So now you can discover the context around the code and see answers to questions you didn't even know you had. But let's look at another tool that helps me roll up my sleeves and dig into the code, Codespaces. Codespaces are powerful developer environments in the cloud, spun up in seconds and completely configured for your project. The Codespaces dashboard has a curated list of templates to get you started quickly. Now, I've been wanting to play with Preact, but I don't want to risk breaking my local laptop installing a bunch of dependencies. Luckily, Codespaces has already done all of the configuration for me, so I can focus on learning and building, not setup. From the Preact template, in a single click, you can spin up a pre-configured cloud-based developer environment personalized with your themes and dot files. Index.js is already open, so I can simply make a change and get tinkering quickly. And there it is. Now, it might seem like magic, but the secret is config as code. The dev container JSON file defines how your project will build, display, and run. So every developer of this repository, every user, has the same delightful experience every time. Now remember, I didn't fork Preact. Templates let me get started quickly on my next project without needing to create a fork or repository first. Speaking of my next project, I've been wanting to explore Stable Diffusion, an AI model that allows you to generate images based on a prompt, but it doesn't run on my laptop yet. Luckily, GPUs for Codespaces are now in private preview. And not only that, I can choose which editor I use. I can now use Codespaces in VS Code or IntelliJ on my local desktop, or I can even open in Jupyter Lab. Now, this astronaut riding on a horse was cool, but what about that rainbow corgi in space? And in just a few seconds, I'm ready to make some AI. I know, it's so cute. I am ready to make some AI-generated art powered by my personal GPU in the cloud. Okay, that's a cute corgi, right? And just the image I need. Since becoming available last year, we've heard success stories from thousands of developers using Codespaces within teams and enterprise. But this is GitHub. We want to make the possibilities offered by Codespaces available to every developer. So today, I am thrilled to announce that Codespaces will be available for all GitHub users with up to 60 hours of free usage every month. So excited. The worst feeling as a developer is getting stuck before you can even get started. So use Codespaces to get in the flow and stay there.
Now I want to talk about the heart of GitHub, the open source community that powers our modern world. Open source developers build tools for the rest of us, so our job is to build the tools they need to succeed too. Over the last year, we've been hard at work to make a developer's daily community experience truly excellent. GitHub Discussions enables thousands of communities of all types to connect and build together. The GitHub profile is now fully customizable and celebrates your achievements, reflecting your unique developer life. And now, with our new privacy settings, you can control what you share online, while still being able to contribute publicly to open source. And 3 years ago, we launched GitHub Sponsors to help fund the global team of volunteers that build open source software, the ones that we all depend on. Since the open source economy on GitHub has flourished, we've doubled the number of regions served by sponsors to 68, and all of you have contributed over $25 million to open source developers and projects. That's the power of community. It's made it possible for thousands of developers to pursue their passions and contribute to open source full-time. But we often hear, more developers want to take this leap, quit their jobs, work for the internet. GitHub wants to help. And we know that we need to build an open source economy on developers' terms. So I want to discuss 3 ways we're tackling this. First, projects need durable funding over the long term, a role that companies who depend on open source can and should play. We want to lead by example here, so we're supporting our own stack. This past summer, we contributed $500,000 to the dependencies that GitHub needs to run its own software. We funded 900 people across the world and allowed them to spend more time on their projects, fixing lingering bugs, patching that security flaw, or sketching out their next release. Let's hear from some of the developers.
I received the grant from GitHub around July this year, and it really motivated me to continue doing open source. It was my first sponsorship, so it really made me feel like you can do this maybe for a living in the long run, right?
GitHub opening up the sponsorships is what allowed me to get noticed.
P5.js is an open source JavaScript library that has more than 1.5 active million users. This is a job like 24/7. So being supported by different organizations, I think provide us the space to sometimes to take a break.
Corporate sponsorships are really important. Getting that recognition as far as like my career goes, it's one of the best things on my resume, no matter what I've launched or what I've done.
Nick, Chan, and Fran said it just right. Companies sponsoring open source means that many more developers can take a much-needed break, branch out into a new project, or jumpstart a career. This is exactly what we want to support. And we want to give developers more options on how they fund their work. With companies like these participating in sponsors, we know we can. Which brings me to our second step. Building a career in open source is uncharted territory. Who do you talk to first? What are you asking for your sponsorship? Where should I focus? Unlike most careers, there's no predictable path to follow. Last year, we launched an experiment in India called OS Grants. We gave 15 developers a simple grant that afforded them the time to focus on building their open source projects. And the results, a year later, are fantastic. As just one example, Peter Thomas used his grant to formally work on Karate Labs, which is a venture-backed startup today. We want to expand on this program globally, and that's why I'm proud to announce the GitHub Accelerator. We're going to fund 20 maintainers that want to commit to a full-time career in open source. Starting with a 10-week program, we'll provide a cash grant and mentorship from the GitHub team, open source experts who have pioneered in this space, and enterprise sponsors, where they can build a durable set of funding for the long term. Check out the application. Yeah, we want more people in this. We'll be launching our first class early next year, so be sure to apply by December 31st. We're so excited to experiment with this creative community. Our hope is that each class blazes new paths in open source, so that in the future, many others can fork and follow. Finally, open source companies are born on GitHub every day, and they're melding together the meaning of communities and enterprises building product together. We know the power of these products, and we want to invest in this vital ecosystem. So I'm excited to announce a $10 million GitHub fund in partnership with M12. We're going to specifically focus on open source dev tools, because if we want open source to be vibrant tomorrow, we got to invest in the maintainers of today. We've already partnered with a company that showcases just what this could look like, Codespaces, which maps open source and company repos so developers can confidently and automatically make changes to their code. We're excited to partner with them, and we want to see a new generation of developer tools built on GitHub. We want to give developers the choice to work on open source full-time, regardless of income, regardless of location. And we hope that today's programs, supporting our stack, the GitHub Accelerator, and the GitHub Fund, will jumpstart a thriving open source economy for projects that can be a developer's passion and their livelihood.
Innovation in software happens to a large degree in the open source domain these days. You want to be part of that, you should be part of open source.
If you look at a Mercedes-Benz car, it is packed with open source components. So it's just natural for us to collaborate with others, and open source is the best model to do that.
In enterprise IT, we have decided to go all on GitHub because it helps us to share the code internally and work with the open source world.
Everyone knows GitHub, yeah. So the biggest platform out there, and that is for us a huge advantage because we do not have to explain GitHub itself. We can concentrate on the stuff that we do with that.
GitHub is for us a platform which integrates every need we have around code, around configuration, about doing our job, building the systems. So we have one platform that integrates easily and that reduces time and gives us the transparency we need. What we automated with GitHub Action is how we build the code. We do the software engineering, we test it, we simulate it, and GitHub is our core tool to make that work.
Organizations and the open source community are turning to GitHub Actions to power their continuous integration and deployment workflows. In fact, over 10 million builds a day are happening with GitHub Actions across Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. So GitHub Actions is the #1 CI/CD platform, and it's more powerful and flexible than ever. So whether you're building a small personal website or a cloud-native, mission-critical enterprise application, GitHub Actions can meet your needs. And best of all, it's closely integrated with all the other GitHub features you know and love. So if you haven't used GitHub Actions yet, it may feel a bit daunting at first. So we've invested in the Getting Started experience with simple but powerful starter templates. But notice these templates don't simply build and test my code. They can also automate security analysis or deploy my app to more than a dozen different cloud services like AWS, GCP, Azure, and more. Now, templates are great for getting started, but let's be honest, how often are you starting from scratch? It's much more likely that you've already got some other CI/CD system in place, maybe under somebody's desk or somewhere else. Now, understandably, the thought of doing it all over again in a brand new platform is not an attractive prospect. So to help with this, we've been working on a new tool called GitHub Actions Importer. With GitHub Actions Importer, we can help you not only migrate your company's automation to GitHub Actions extremely quickly, but more importantly, plan and scope the effort required to do so, and even help estimate your usage based on analyzing your existing platform use. We've already been using it with large enterprise customers that have particularly complex migration requirements, and so far we've had some great success. So far, we've seen that about 90% or more of workloads have been migrated automatically with GitHub Actions Importer. So we're really excited to start rolling that out more broadly in the coming months. So as you build up your DevOps capabilities with GitHub Actions, you'll find that your workflows will grow and become more complex. And in an organization, you want to have a common, repeatable way that applications are built, tested, and deployed. Reusable workflows mean you don't need to repeat yourself, and you can easily maintain consistency. For example, let's say I want to add a new staging environment between testing and production, but make sure that I'm deploying in exactly the same way as I will when we go to production. To do that, I can add a job to deploy to staging and simply point to the reusable workflow I already use to deploy to my production environment. This means I can guarantee the exact same behavior when deploying to both staging and production and ensure there's no room for configuration drift or all of that copy-pasta logic. I can also call this reusable workflow from other repositories in my organization or even other organizations. And all this means that I can trust that each deployment is doing the right thing every time. Now, another way that teams can control quality is with pull requests. You can now use GitHub Actions to deploy each pull request to its own temporary review environment. And this enables the team to easily see and interact with the changes before approving, of course, and kicking off your production CI/CD process. Now, of course, before that deployment actually gets in front of customers, you want to make sure that everything looks right. So here, we're using environment protection rules to gate a deployment to production until an appropriate person approves it. This gives us a chance to do a final check or just get sign-off before going live. Now, you can also set environment protection rules to restrict which branches can go to each environment. So you know that only your release or main branch can ever get to prod. Or you could just delay the deployment for a period of time. And it looks like this one's been approved by Thomas. Cool. Thanks, boss. Um, in the past, you could only choose the operating system for your hosted build machines. But sometimes you want a little bit or a lot of extra power. So now you can take advantage of larger hosted runners in GitHub Actions. These runners let you build in Linux and Windows and provide compute with up to 64 cores and 256 gigabytes of RAM. One customer, Dagger.io, managed to reduce their build times dramatically just by moving to more powerful hosted runners, more than paying for itself. We have also partnered with ARM to make IoT development even easier. I'm pleased to announce that the ARM development tools, including the cross-compiler and ARM virtual hardware, are now available natively inside GitHub Actions hosted runners. So you really can build and deploy in any environment, from IoT to quantum computers to the largest cloud environments in the world. GitHub Actions can help you build, test, and deploy reliably and securely. So GitHub Actions is more powerful than ever, which is why organizations like Mercedes, KPMG, Dell, Shopify, and many more are using Actions to power their builds and deployments. And last year, we donated over 7 billion minutes of GitHub Actions to open source. So whether you're deploying a blog to GitHub Pages, or you're an open source maintainer who needs automated testing, or maybe you're the CTO of a Fortune 500 company who wants a reliable CI/CD solution, GitHub Actions is the answer.
GitHub Enterprise brings all of these features, like Actions, Codespaces, advanced security, and issues, into that complete developer platform, backed by the security, auditability, and compliance features that companies need with that developer experience that you already know and love. You can self-host it with GitHub Enterprise Server, or increasingly have us take care of that for you with GitHub Enterprise Cloud. Now, I recognize quite a few faces in the room from the startups and enterprises I talk to every day. And you consistently tell me that you're trying to innovate quickly and safely. If you're trying to onboard developers and integrate new teams through acquisitions and partnerships fast. You want to give those teams freedom to work the way they want, but also have confidence that your company's billing and security policies are applied consistently everywhere. The GitHub Enterprise account is designed to help you strike that right balance. Developers can work their way, while you, administrators, have full control over policies, like requiring that everyone has 2FA enabled across your organizations. In the last year, we've also made it easier to move independent GitHub organizations into a single enterprise cloud account. So even as your company is growing through things like acquisitions, you don't need to try to spin 9 plates at work every day. You can just spin one with one enterprise account. One plate you might not want to spin at work every day is also worrying about how you give access to the right people, to the right projects, from the right places. And that gets all of the more important, and let's face it, harder, as companies are moving to the cloud with teams working from anywhere. To help you manage that, GitHub Enterprise integrates directly with the identity providers you already use, such as Okta and Azure Active Directory. And now you can use them to provide developers with a dedicated GitHub account just for work that doesn't affect their personal account at all, with enterprise managed users. In just a year since launch, almost 1,000 companies have adopted enterprise managed users. And we've recently added the ability for you to apply IP address access rules directly from your identity provider over those accounts. So your GitHub Enterprise access policies are always going to be up to date with your company. But, you know, as Thomas said, to build faster, you do need the tools now that empower your teams whilst also securing your most valuable assets. With GitHub Enterprise Cloud, you get access to our newest features as soon as they're released. Features like the new fine-grained personal access tokens that massively reduce the surface area of credential leaks by empowering developers with individual repository targeting and over 50 fine-grained permissions, and organization administrators with full control over what access is approved. Or the ability now to track all of those tokens in your enterprise audit log. So if one is leaked, you can see exactly what it's been used for. So that is GitHub Enterprise Cloud. But if you're using Enterprise Server, we've also been shipping hundreds of these features every year to our self-hosted instances, and we're adding even more. Today, I'm pleased to announce the release of GitHub Enterprise Server 3.7. This release includes over 70 new features, like enhancements to reusable workflows with actions, so it's easier to deploy actions at scale with standardized workflows. New enterprise inner source policies that make it easier to collaborate across teams no matter what your compliance needs are. And feature 3 of 70, I promise I'm not actually going to list all 70, the launch of the security overview dashboard for all enterprise customers. So every company and security team can get a single view of risk across your enterprise. So whether you choose to self-host or join us in the cloud, GitHub Enterprise is the best tool to innovate and operate however your business demands.
Security can be complex, but as a GitHub Enterprise user, it doesn't have to be. You can embed the best security tooling directly into your development processes. GitHub Advanced Security empowers developers and security teams like you at over 1,400 companies to build securely by default, right where you're already planning, collaborating, and shipping code, all in GitHub. One of the hardest things about keeping your code secure is the constantly changing attack surface. The software supply chain is the largest attack vector today. Without insights into your code, you may never know that you have vulnerabilities in your dependencies. Dependabot makes this easy. It automatically notifies you of security issues in your code so you can quickly merge to the latest safe version. In 2022, developers updated 50% more vulnerable packages than in 2021, helping to secure 18 million projects in GitHub without the hassle of manual steps. But what about your credentials? Credential breaches are emerging as the most costly attack vector we're facing. That's why we built secret scanning. When we identify a secret, we walk you through how to take an action, like how to remediate or flag a false positive, and you have complete visibility into each secret found. You can even create your own custom patterns to detect secret patterns unique to your organization. But if you're a little lazy like me and also risk adverse, and you want to stop secrets from ever entering your code, you now can, thanks to push protection. No matter where you're working, potential secrets can be blocked before they make it into your code. And if you accidentally push a secret into GitHub, we give you the option to remove it or let your security team know why it should be there. Last month alone, push protection stopped over 1,000 secret leaks, saving teams like you thousands of headaches and thousands of hours on triaging, rotating, and remediating secrets. But what about those unknown vulnerabilities in your code base? With CodeQL, you have a widely adopted solution with a large open source libraries of queries to detect security issues in your own code. Companies like Bloomberg, Uber, Microsoft use CodeQL within their own code, and they share their queries back with the GitHub community. CodeQL already supports some of your favorite languages like Java, C++, Go, and JavaScript. Today, we're making support for Ruby generally available. And at GitHub, we don't just build our security tools, we use them too. Powering the GitHub website is mostly written in Ruby. So we use CodeQL on our own code base. With CodeQL, we've been able to remediate dozens of potential vulnerabilities in just a few weeks and kept far more from entering our code. For developers or security teams whose responsibility spans across hundreds or thousands of repositories, we're here for you too. We're committed to continuing to support you in improving your security posture across all detection types.
Security Overview provides you with actionable feedback and insight across every repository you have. I'm excited to announce we're deepening the Security Overview experience with new dashboards on risk and adoption, giving you more insights into your risk posture and highlighting areas that you might be vulnerable because you don't have security features turned on. With this information, you can take action on what matters most to your organization. But it's no longer our own software we have to care about. The world has never been more interconnected. The security of our business's software and the security of open source software has never been more deeply intertwined. That makes every piece of software important, and that means we all have a role to play in keeping open source software secure. That's why in public repositories, we scan for leaked secrets and help to revoke them. Why we provide code scanning via CodeQL for free. Why Dependabot will always be forever free for all repositories and all users. That's why Security Lab researchers will continue to publicly share all discovered vulnerabilities within our open source advisory database. But we still need to do more for open source maintainers and security researchers. Today, I'm pleased to announce private vulnerability reporting. It's a game changer. Maintainers and security researchers together play a critical role in keeping open source secure. It can be really difficult to responsibly share vulnerabilities found in a public project, and we want to make that easier. With private vulnerability, people can now privately disclose vulnerabilities to just the maintainers of the open source project. Together, you can now find a fix, remediate, then publish your CVE, all within GitHub. This dramatically reduces the burden on open source maintainers who are volunteering their time and skill to run our open source projects. Developer and security teams no longer should compromise on agility or need to use out-of-sync tooling to secure their code. With GitHub Advanced Security, security can be something that enables you to ship quickly and with confidence.
This was amazing, right? Woo! 15 years ago, the first line of code was committed to build GitHub, the initial commit. And since then, we've always had one purpose, to put the developer first. Over the years, through every iteration, from the pull request to Copilot, this has remained our mission. Because putting the developer first also puts everybody first who depends on a developer. And 15 years later, we have arrived at the moment where this is more necessary than ever. Today, you have seen our biggest innovations yet across the entire developer lifecycle. From picking up your first task in issues and projects, to booting your dev environment in Codespaces, and then in your code editor, using Copilot to write code more efficiently, to then even using your voice with Hey GitHub. And when you're done with coding, it goes to submitting your pull request, securing your code with advanced security, automating everything, not just CI/CD, everything with actions, to pulling in more than 15,000 integrations from our marketplace. Integrations with the whole developer ecosystem and all of our partners. And through everything, collaborating with the open source community who empower us all. In all these things standing on their own would have seemed like science fiction, like Star Trek, just 15 years ago. But it's what all these innovations are designed to achieve together that is most important to us. Like we've always done, we built this new developer experience, this one integrated platform for one single purpose, to put the developer first. Because ultimately, developers will build their best when they have one single place to do it all. One place with everything developers need to be creative, to be happy, to build a better, more brilliant tomorrow for everyone. And GitHub is this one place, the only place where this is truly possible. Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you even more for coming on the journey ahead with us. Have a great universe, and let's build from here.
So, how is that? You all have now access to mic. So, how is that?
I guess everyone enjoyed
Yeah,
it and got to know about some amazing features of GitHub, GitHub Copilot, and Codespaces indeed. Yeah, yes.
yeah.
Do you have any doubt or something?
So, actually, wait. I have a giveaway. So our first giveaway. So whoever tells what all the things covered by them will get something.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Let's keep the excitement for the giveaways. Uh, Also, we have a quiz now. Just basics about how was the session about GitHub Watch Party, and not much tech, of course. We'll have the technical session at the end, but now just for some extra swags, we are
Hello.
having uh, a a
Yeah,
small quiz for of 10 questions, and you are good to go. I'm sharing the link to join
Nikhil.
the.
Before
Yeah.
the quiz, so I announced a giveaway. So whoever tells all the things covered by them will get a surprise.
Well, in the
Okay.
start,
Okay.
there was AI assistance.
Yeah, who is that?
Yeah. First give your introduction, then go ahead.
Yes, I
Tell
am
us.
Shivam.
Hello.
Hello, I
Yeah,
am
please
Yeah,
Shivam.
go ahead.
Shivam.
I'm from Ghaziabad.
Hmm.
So
Where do you
first,
study, Shivam?
I study in ABS IT Institute of Technology in
Okay.
Ghaziabad.
Okay. Yeah,
So
please go ahead.
at first, the CEO Thomas Dockham introduced what is GitHub Universe and gave a brief introduction that how many developers are on GitHub. Like he said, there were 94 million developers on GitHub as of now, and then the Copilot AI assistance, Hey GitHub was covered, and then product backlog was discussed, in which they told us that we can manage our task and give task to subtask also, so we can develop a project easily. And then it was a GitHub issues page where we can navigate between problems and search for any questions that we need in our project. And then there was GitHub acceleration, that was a program who would fund 20 plus maintainers for developing their projects so they can excel. And then there was GitHub actions, which was a tool who could मतलब GitHub action tool could be used for GitHub action tools का याद नहीं आ रहा है इतना. बाकी
Yeah, you can.
उसके बाद GitHub एंटरप्राइज क्लाउड डिस्कस हुआ था. माया रोस ने सीनियर डायरेक्टर ने वो करा था. तो उसमें क्या कहते हैं, अर्ली एक्सेस फीचर्स वगैरह डिस्कस हुए थे. GHES 3.7 का अर्ली 70 प्लस न्यू फीचर्स वर डिस्कस्ड and a security overview system. And then there was advanced security system to protect against secret leaks by the company and organizations. And 18 million plus projects were done under that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Would
that's
anyone
great.
want to add in something?
Hi.
Mm. Hi,
Yeah,
Chirag.
please
Yeah.
go ahead, Chira.
Hello.
Thing.
Yeah, Chirag,
Hello.
go ahead.
Did most of the things, but he forgot about the tell when you are going to access GitHub code spaces, you will get 60 hours for a month, every, every single month.
Yeah. 60 hours a month for free. Yeah, that's
Al-
a good one. Yeah.
Also, the
Anyone
public
else?
repository we are getting now, which will be private,
Okay, your voice break turn a while, but still, yeah, that was a good one.
will have better connection, better private repository as compared to the previous. We'll have more on that.
Also, I guess, yeah, anyone wants to add
Yeah.
in? Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anmol, hey.
Hey, so they also mentioned about the GitHub sponsored. So it's also a new feature in it, like sponsorship is also now available in the GitHub.
Okay, um, so a point from my side, what I liked the most was the alerts feature for your secrets. I use the most for GitHub for deploying some applications which require authentication. So that would help me a lot. I guess someone would also relate to this point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite was the Copilot, like how we just speak and it will write the whole code. That's
Okay,
the
that's
great.
also insane
One more
feature
thing.
indeed.
Yeah,
Uh,
Tushar.
they, al- they also mentioned we can reduce our time just simply by using GitHub AI, which can code some functions and etc.
Yeah. So, Lakshya Agarwal,
Even they mentioned about the funding of 10 million that they would give it to the open source project if they found out that yes, this was a good one
Copilot,
that
I
can
guess.
be. Yeah,
Lakshya Agarwal.
this is Shomojit Nag speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Next.
Uh, my favorite feature is Hey GitHub. Hey GitHub is a very like a Google Assistant feature.
Yeah, that's actually GitHub Copilot, and the command to activate it, it's hey GitHub.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey GitHub. Yes. Right.
That would actually help a lot of lazy devs like me to write some piece of codes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Push protection.
Yeah, Saumyajit.
Yes, sir. And one new feature is about that is a GitHub business and GitHub business for all the young developers or the organization, which were to code much faster than. This feature will be introduced by the CEO of that GitHub AI, and it's all about that business will be used and code much faster in less of a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one another great one.
Yes.
Sure.
Uh,
So ready for the quiz now? I'm sharing my screen. Meanwhile, you can join the Discord server and head to the quiz channel. Uh, we'll be starting
Where
in two
can
three
we find
minutes.
the Discord link?
That's posted on the WhatsApp channel, and also I'm sharing my screen. So is my
Okay.
screen visible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
You can just scan the
So
QR
you
code.
can scan the QR and join. Meanwhile, the quiz would be ready in 2 3 minutes. Just till then, you can all join.
Uh, Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we have let some features that they have told about. like Codespaces, and GitHub is providing direct access to VS Code and Jupyter Notebook and this thing. I
Yeah,
think this is how.
we will
Uh,
have one more discussion at the end.
oh,
Meanwhile, maybe okay, we can continue it now. Till then, you can join uh, and be ready for the quiz, so that no one misses it. We have
Mm,
two quizzes today.
can you tell me where is the quiz section in the Discord
Okay,
server?
you will just receive a ping for get ready for MLSA's quiz.
Okay.
I guess the ping is live. It's on the quiz channel, and the quiz will be live soon.
Where is the quiz?
It's on the quiz channel. Once everyone joins the server, I'll share my screen and I'll navigate you to this particular channel as well. So no need to worry. Yeah, you'll be able to find it. Just give some time.
Okay. Yes.
Mhm. So people who have already joined can just show some excitement or acknowledge it by uh, waving your hands through emojis like I'm doing now. Yeah, or else you can raise your hand, whatever works for you. So I'm sharing the quiz channels. Okay, the quiz would be on this channel. This is the ping. Get ready for the GitHub Universe Watch Party quiz.
Yeah, whoever ready, just raise your hand.
Yeah, so we'll be starting in just 1 minute. So I see lot more people ready at the quiz section. Okay, sure. We are starting it now. The quiz is live.
Where is it? Is it in quiz time?
Yeah, it's in the quiz time. Also the screen is visible. Yeah, I've shared the quiz. How many of you got the first question right?
Sir, I'm not getting any question.
Make sure you
Me too.
have good
I
internet
can't see
connection.
anything.
I mean, weekend actions. It's in quiz time channel.
It's in the quiz time channel. See, you can navigate under the event section. It's in the quiz time channel. So here you go.
Even it's not getting the responses, I'm doing it. My two-factor authentication is also on as well. The last time I faced the same problem as well.
Uh,
I haven't received the quiz yet.
okay, not a problem. If you missed the first quiz, we have one more. Till then, you can figure out what's wrong. Maybe install the Discord again or just join through a different device. So no need to worry. We have planned two quizzes.
Like I am also doing from my smartphone. It's getting the same one as well.
I'm so sorry. I can't troubleshoot it from here as most of you are getting it right. Right. So it could be some issue with your network or something. Okay, how many of you are getting it right? All your questions are right. Okay, one more last question, and we are good to go with the hands-on session of GitHub Code Spaces. Congratulations if you made it to the top of the leaderboard. Uh, Now we have the hands-on session of uh, GitHub Code Spaces. So, Rakesh, would you mind uh, taking it through?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hi everyone. Let's everyone come back to the meet. Leave the Discord.
Okay, let's it's like not leaving the Discord. You just
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
back to the screen so that you can learn about the GitHub code spaces. That's actually a great tool. This morning I was helping one of my friend with his React project, and I was I had some other system with me without any tools installed in it. So I blindly just head to the GitHub and started using code spaces and done. So yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah. So. mm,
Thank you, Hitesh, for appreciating.
so
Yeah,
okay.
Rakesh, we are
So
good to go. Yep.
can you see my screen? And am
Yeah,
I
it's
audible?
visible. Yeah, you're
Yes.
clearly audible. You can good to go.
Yeah. Okay. So GitHub code spaces. So anyone of you are already aware of this code spaces? Mm,
No, sir.
yeah. Okay. Fine. So GitHub code spaces is a like it's like a cloud computing where all the development you can do in a cloud remote server. So it contains everything you need to develop a project like a terminal and all the Visual Studio features and like 32 crores CPU and 64 GB memory and spin up time less than 10 seconds. I mean, it's a Visual Studio Code in cloud. You all love Visual Studio Code, right? So a lot of people find it struggle to set up the project locally and run it locally, all the dependencies and etc. Manage all the dependencies, etc. So code spaces can set up you a dev environment within seconds and you can start developing your project. So you can just go to github.com phs code spaces to learn everything about code spaces. So as you all saw in the keynote watch party, they gave 60 hours per month of free time. So you all can try it for free. So let's see the hands-on session. So I will show you how to use the code spaces. So you all can go to your GitHub and open any repository, and after opening the repository you can see this here. So previously it shows only this local development. So they now added another tab called Codespaces. So all you can do is just click on create Codespaces. So it will just spin up a server on, and it will set up everything you need, like all everything like your local system. Except it is fast, and it won't break down your project. It will handle all the dependencies. Yeah. So meanwhile, do you have guys any doubts before this sets up everything?
Is it a VS Code which is actually starting right now?
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
Visual Studio Code in
It is just
cloud.
hosted on the cloud.
So more likely, more than a VS Code, it works. Let's say you're working
Yeah.
on something like a machine learning project, and you lack you're of lacking resources, and you're with your local system, and that's not so powerful. You can use this and leverage the power of GitHub code spaces to get your things done.
Have
So that's
anyone
how
attended
it
our
works.
previous event, introduction to GitHub with GitHub.dev? So
Yes,
if
I was
anyone,
there.
yeah, I saw Mrudul. So if anyone attended that event, you may have already know this is a GitHub.dev. So it is a Visual Studio Code. You can open any repository on browser with just a single click. That is dot. Just go to any repository and press dot. It will open in GitHub.dev. So same like that. Codespaces is like it provides you a terminal, and it will handle all the computing, storage, etc. All the dependencies. That's the
Hey,
difference between
Rakesh,
GitHub.dev and Codespaces.
can you like make some introduction about the project you're working on, like now?
So yeah,
Meanwhile, if there is
this is
no
not
questions.
actually, yeah, this is not actually my project. This is a dev cover. It gives you a ready-made portfolio based on your GitHub profile. So I will just show you that website.
Okay, that's great. Maybe you all can use this and make your own portfolio website.
Yeah, okay, you just have to enter your GitHub username. Okay, something wrong.
Okay, you can use mine, by the way. It's Nikhil Mahana.
Yeah, yeah. Wait. I already have it.
Okay.
So this is the this it generates a project like this. So it includes your introduction, your GitHub README page, and your projects, and a
Wow,
mail,
this is
link to
so
your mail.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just host on it on a custom domain and share it to your recruiters. Like so, don't worry about this.
Yes.
This is just a
How to apply
project, example
repositories?
project. Yeah. So okay, as you can see, it already set up the whole project, and it handled all the dependencies and thing. So you can see here, uh, lock. Uh, Anyone know what is this lock? If you worked with web development, anyone know this? Don't worry if you don't know. Only mostly web development
I
people
think
know
it's
about this.
basically holds the all the dependencies into the
Yeah,
code.
yeah. So what I am trying to say is it already installed all the dependencies. So you can see here the node modules. So what you have to do, it is already opened a terminal bash called bash. So you can just run any command, and you can interact with your project. So this is a Next.js project. So if anyone know Next.js, we start project like this, and yeah, don't worry about any of this. So any about this project, just concentrate on the this thing, Codespaces. So see, the Codespaces forwarded your port to a to a hosted URL. So this is you can't open a local host on hosted version, right? So they Codespaces gives you a URL, so you can just forward that 3000 port to this URL and open it and see. It is loading. See, see how fast is this is. I mean, like minutes. It depends on your internet connection. If you have very fast internet connection, and it may be in seconds. If you do all this in locally, you may have to struggle a lot and handle all the dependencies, your system requirements. GitHub code spaces avoiding all of that. So that's how you start a project in GitHub Codespaces. That's how you use the terminal. And so I think all of you already know about Visual Studio Code, and this is File Explorer and chats source control. You can even open your pull requests. You do all the everything you do on GitHub. You can do in this also, github.dev. Extensions, you can even install extensions like you normally do in Visual Studio Code locally. Yeah, so another thing I want to show is how you can open this in your local Visual Studio. Mm, it- so see, if you type Control Shift V or Command Shift P, it will open the this. Here you can just type Codespaces open. If you have Visual Studio Code installed on your system, you can open this what you call GitHub code space in your local version of Visual Studio Code. So let me do that and click on open. You can now close the tab and work on your local system. Okay, I think I have to install extension. Fine. See how easily you opened this project in Visual Studio Code. Normally, what you do is you clone the project, you open it in your file explorer, and then you open it in in your Visual Studio Code. So a little configuration here. All these are first time steps, so you don't need to do it regularly. If you do it once, it will open automatically from the next time. So it's done, I think.
Also, if I'm not wrong, it's all, one time process. You don't need to
Yeah,
hassle
yeah, that's what I that's
the
what I
next
told
time.
you. No, it is a one
Yeah.
step process.
It
So
will
as you can see, it opened in your local system. This is the Visual Studio Code in your local system. See, you can see you also got node modules here. That means it opened all that same browser instance in your local system. You can open your port here also. You can interact with your terminal here also. See how amazing is this? I mean, so traditionally what you do, first you clone this project locally and you open it on your Visual Studio Code and you handle all the dependency system requirements, and then you start the project and then you start working on it. But with GitHub Codespaces, it will happen in seconds. So that's about all the code spaces and thing. So I would like to cover one more thing. It is about secrets. So if anyone worked with real projects in your real life, you all know you have to hide some keys, etc. And for that you use environment variables. So for this project, we don't need any environment variables. That's why we didn't got any errors. But if you have environmental variables used on your project, you can set those environment variables in settings. So to set that, I have to go to settings and secrets, and here they added this new thing called code spaces. So just click on code spaces and new repository secret, and you can type your secret name and value. I don't have any secrets, but so I don't need to add. After adding these values, just click on add secret and it will handle all the environment variables and things. So that's about the main topics of the GitHub code spaces. You can explore more on the official website. So that's it. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now.
Yeah, that's great. I remember before the secrets feature was out, we struggled a lot, right, Rakesh,
Yeah,
for deploying an application. So
yeah,
that's kind of very easy now. To go, just go ahead and you're good to go.
yeah.
So meanwhile,
Uh,
you
Anyone would like to tell what you liked the most about GitHub code spaces?
okay?
Ready to use space, I would say.
We are up for the Q&A now, and also for the feedback for this session. You can just scan the feedback link and put in all the details there. And yeah, yeah, please turn on your mic and share
Yeah, first
the
raise your.
discussion.
Oh, echo.
Yeah, so according to me, the pre-configured environment is the best thing. I mean, the
Yeah,
first hassle that we have to do is like to configuring the whole environment for our project. So that part is
yeah,
completely done by. So we don't need to take care of that.
yeah. Also, you don't need to do it all the time. For example, once you create this code space and you open it again, it won't install the dependencies again because it is already loaded. So you won't need to do it again. So from next time onwards, it will become even more fast. Yeah,
Yeah. So I guess
yeah,
someone wants
Mrudul.
to share. Was talking about
I think
the watch party stuff
no,
as well.
watch party and not about watch party. I think this
Okay.
is very helpful for running the project or the repository in my friends or others' computer, as we don't need to set up the whole environment. They are giving the environment itself. I think this is the best feature about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Next, Ishan Kumar.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
Hello. Sir, I just want to say that I have a very low-end PC, so which is better for me? Either I
yeah,
use Visual Studio Code or Codespace.
yeah. That's what this is most useful for. Most people. This is also another problem. Most people don't have some great PCs. They always struggle to do the development locally. So this is a great one.
Also, like
Okay.
there won't be any excuses this time. It's not running in my PC. You have code
Yeah,
spaces. You can just go ahead and
it
use
runs
it.
on every PC.
Yeah.
Anyone would like to share? We are recording everything. The more you will be interactive, and the more your chances of getting something.
To be honest, as Nikhil mentioned earlier,